Shalom, shalom, Israel. I'm back. TOL channel. All praises to the Most High Yah. We're about to go into this next video, really explaining, really debunking the whole, you know what I'm saying, East Side Holy Land doctrine. Really debunking the whole Utah doctrine. Not to say it's any doctrine or anything, but everybody's gonna have their own beliefs. But if you understand land formations, directions, you know what I mean, just basic geography, man, you should be able to pinpoint where the land is on the face of the earth. Now, if you haven't looked at the old video of the Americas that I had dropped, you might want to go watch that first before you get into this video. You get your little understanding up. Yeah, man, it's pretty basic. What I'm about to go through now first is really penetrate the Red Sea, the Jordan, and basically Egypt, in comparison to where the land has to be according to Scripture. Now, before I do this, I'm gonna, you know what I mean, I'm gonna go through some storylines of how he left Egypt, how he crossed over to Jordan, directions of what forth, so you can, I'm gonna like paint a picture of us leaving Egypt. So if you don't really understand the stories yet, you know what I mean, go into the book of the law, which is Genesis through Deuteronomy, and really just use it and paint a picture of how it would actually play out in a real life scenario. Now, before I get into any lands and where's where and what happened and blah blah, first thing we're gonna do is go over the basic facts according to Scripture, directions, and after that we're gonna get into basic facts of what a sea is. Now, as we all know it, this is north, this is south, this is east, this is west. The sun goes down in the west, the sun rises in the east. So, for America, for example, we know that the biggest ocean in the world, the biggest sea in the world, is the Pacific, and this would be the Atlantic. So we know this is east, this is west. No matter how you flip this, so you can say the map that we look at today is tilted 90 degrees to the left, so up will be east. It doesn't matter. Even if up is east and we're looking straight ahead and say this is the top of the map right here, it doesn't matter. The sun is always coming, always rising from the east, and it's always going to set below us on the west. You get what I'm saying? And the scriptures to back that up in the book of the law, so we can't take it away. Now, when I use scriptures outside of the book of the law, meaning after Deuteronomy, you kind of want to use process of elimination or just common sense. All right, if that says this, then this must be this. So that means this must be true because that's what the book of the law says. You get what I mean? So we're gonna go to Numbers 2. This barely has anything to do with what I'm going to get into, but it's kind of, you know what I mean, just to start off so we can get a good grasp of what we're talking about. So Numbers 2:2, this is when we're in the wilderness before we even crossed any Jordan. This is us in the wilderness after the Red Sea. So Numbers 2:2, every man and his children Israel shall pitch by his own standard. With the ensign of their father's house, far about the tabernacle of the congregation shall they pitch. And on the east side toward the rising of the sun. So already we know, boom, that's evidence. The rising of the sun is always east, no matter how you put it, no matter what anyone tries to say, no matter how you try and paint that picture. This is something that these heathens couldn't change in a book. So we always know east is always rising in the sun, no matter how you rotate the map. And just to back that up even more, we're going to go outside the Torah because there's not really any places in the Torah that makes this statement true, even though we know it's in the Torah, it is true. But we're going to go ahead and go to Joshua, and we're going to go to Joshua 1:4. From the wilderness into this Lebanon, even to the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun. So we know already the world that we live in today, even though we don't know if the map is flipped upside down or whatnot, we know west is always going down to the sun, east is always rising to the sun. Boom, we got that. So now that we got that, we're gonna go over what seas are, because I know a lot of people are confused about seas and how they work. Now I'm gonna just go over a little, you know what I'm saying? Just a little clarification of what a sea is. Now we know the large bodies of water that are in between continents are oceans. South Atlantic Ocean, North Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, the largest ocean. Now we all know that if you understand what's going on with the Earth, we all know this is fake. The Earth is not a ball. So if I'm losing you on that one, then you need to go study some more. I'm not going over that in this video, but we know these are big oceans right here. Now seas. Seas, to make it very simple, seas are a speck of ocean, but it has a divergence between the land, meaning there's some type of split, and there's a way you have to navigate to get to another destination. So what I mean by divergence is you can see a sea, and it could be, if you look at it, if you put a piece of land on top of it, it will have its own formation of a piece of land. You get what I'm saying? So let's take, for instance, the Mediterranean Sea. You can see right here, if you outline this whole thing right here, what would you get? You can look and see like a piece of land, right? The Tyrrhenian Sea. Look, boom. This is cut off right here. This is the sea. The North Sea over here by Northern Europe. You can see cut off, divergence from the ocean. Boom. You can see that's the sea. And this is relevant throughout the whole world, man. You know what I mean? The Barents Sea, Kara Sea, the Sea of Oshkosh, or whatever that is, the Sea of Japan. You can see the land formation. You can actually cut this out, and it'll look like a piece of land. Those are seas. You know what I mean? So we get wrapped up in not knowing what a sea is. See, the Gulf of California, that would be a sea. You know what I'm saying? This over here ain't no seas because it's just straight land coast. It's one coast connected to the North Pacific Ocean. Now up here in Alaska, you got the Gulf of Alaska. Why? It's connected to the ocean just like California is. But what's so different about it? You have a divergence in the land. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to navigate around here to get to this part of the Pacific Ocean. You get what I'm saying? You have, if you're traveling from California, you'll have to go up here and actually have to turn and then come back around and get into the Bering Sea right here. And if you cut this out, this is one big sea right here. So understand what seas are. Seas are not inside of lands and made up seas that the Europeans made up. You know what I'm saying? Now these names might be different, but you get the gist of what seas are. The Gulf of Mexico would be a sea. The Caribbean Sea, you can cut this out, this would be a sea. You get what I'm saying? This right here should be a sea, but it's not even named. You know, you get the point, man. Right here, this Gulf of Lawrence, this is a sea. So we understand what seas are. So now that's real important to what I'm going to get into. All right, next, we're going to get into the land. Now, this is the big part of this whole video I'm about to talk about. Now, what we have to understand is the Most High divided up the sides of the Jordan before with Abraham and Lot. Now, if you don't know, Lot is not a descendant of Abraham. Lot is a descendant of Abraham's brother. So when Lot and Abraham left Assyria, Babylon, they came to the plain of Jordan. Lot went to the east, and Abraham went to the west, towards the going down of the sun. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to prove this using straight facts from the Torah and the book of Joshua. And the first thing we're going to do is go to Genesis 13. Now I'm going to be using maps and everything just to show you all, illustrated how it's really done. So Genesis 13, 10 and 11. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, and it was well watered everywhere before Yah destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zoar. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from other. So you can see right here, when they got to the Jordan, where did Lot go? Lot went east. He didn't go west, he didn't go north, he didn't go south. He went east of the Jordan. You get what I'm saying? Now, this is Book of Abraham. This is before there was even anything called an Israelite. You get what I'm saying? So we already know where the descendants of Abraham went to. We went to the west side of the Jordan. And Lot had the plain of the east side of the Jordan. Now, that was clearly before Exodus and before we even came out of the land, Egypt and all that. So let's go to Deuteronomy 1. Deuteronomy 1 is us specifically when we already left Egypt in Exodus and we're in the wilderness. Now we all know, let's get one thing straight, we all know we had to cross the Red Sea to get to the wilderness, right? Crossing the Red Sea was the first thing. So we know the Red Sea is connected to Egypt. Am I correct? All right, boom. So now we know we crossed the Red Sea. Now we're in the wilderness. We're at where we're supposed to be at, but we still have some more distance to go. So let's go to Deuteronomy 1. And we're going to go verse 1. Now, this is Israel leaving. We already left Egypt. This is us in the wilderness. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side Jordan in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel and Laban and Hazeroth and Dizahab. So we already crossed the Red Sea. Now we know where we're at. The Red Sea is connected to it. Am I correct? Now, since the Red Sea is connected to where we're at in the wilderness, that means the other side of the Red Sea, on the east side of the Red Sea, has to be where Egypt is at. Egypt cannot be on the west side of where we're at in the wilderness, because that would throw away scriptures. You get what I'm saying? So already we know where the Red Sea has to be on the east side of the Jordan. We're going to keep it going. Deuteronomy 1, 5 through 6. And how do we know it's on the east side? Because look, remember when I said in Genesis that Lot had, Lot went east and Abraham went west? Now let's go over this. Deuteronomy 1:5. Now you could be taking notes, writing all this down as I go. How do we know that we're still on the east side and the Red Sea is still on the east side? On this side, 1:5 says, on this side of the Jordan, in the land of Moab, began Moses to declare this law, saying, Yah spoke to me unto us in Horeb, saying, ye have dwelt long enough in this mount. So it's clearly, you can clearly see that we crossed the Red Sea. We're still not where we're supposed to be at, but we're in the land of Moab. You know what I'm saying? And what can we see on the east side of the Jordan? The Red Sea. These be the words Moses spake unto Israel on this side Jordan in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea. So clearly, on the east side of the Jordan, there's a Red Sea, and then there's Egypt on the other side of the Red Sea. You know what I'm saying? We never crossed the Jordan yet. You get what I'm saying? Now, boom, we got that down pat. So now we're gonna go to Joshua 23, just to clarify all this up, just to sum this all up, and then I'm gonna go to the map and really show you. First, I'm gonna show you Israel over there, Israel over here, and where the real Israel is. So we're gonna show 3 places. So Joshua 23:4. Behold, I have divided unto you by lot these nations that remain, to be an inheritance for your tribes from Jordan, with all these nations I have cut off, even unto the great sea westward. Now we all know Abraham's inheritance was on the west side of the Jordan, going down of the sun. We already got that. We already got that mapped out in our heads. So let's go to this right here. So without even looking at anywhere in the map first, let's go over this map. So this is the Jordan. Let's say this line right here is the Jordan. Doesn't matter where you're at on earth. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter where you're at on earth. Say this is, if this is the east of the Jordan, this is the west of the Jordan has to be going north and south, no matter how you put it. So let's say this is the wilderness right here. If we were still seeing the Red Sea, when we crossed the wilderness and before we crossed the Jordan, after we cross the Red Sea into the wilderness, and before we cross the Jordan, we're gonna call this the wilderness over here. That means this will be the Red Sea. That means Egypt has to be on this side of the Jordan. Let's say it again. Let me do it one more time. If this is the Jordan, this is the wilderness before we cross the Jordan, and the Red Sea was still visible from the land of Moab, the east side of the Jordan, where Lot chose to go, the plain of Jordan, then we know this over here has to be the Red Sea, and Egypt has to be somewhere along this side of where the Jordan is. Now let's go even further before I get into these maps. Now take down these if you want to take down these scriptures and really go over it in your head and really see where I'm coming from. Now we're gonna go back. Now we're gonna get into Joshua 12. Now Joshua 12. All right, so when we cross the wilderness, we all know that Moses never made it into the land, never crossed the Jordan. We were always on one side of the wilderness, and Joshua knew to take over when Moses didn't make it. He knew he had to conquer Canaanites on the east side of the Jordan and on the west side of the Jordan. So let's go through what Joshua actually did in Joshua 12. Joshua and the Israelites. Now, before you cross the Jordan, you can see what happens. Now, these are the kings of the land. Wait, hold on. Let me go back real quick. We actually crossed the Jordan already, but Joshua still had to conquer bits and pieces of land on the other side of the Jordan as well. So let's go back to this right now. Now these are the kings of the land which the children of Israel smote, and possessed the land on the other side of the Jordan toward the rising of the sun, from the river Arnon unto the Mount Hermon and all the plain of the east. Now we know the plain of the east is on Moab's side, Lot's side, because we know Lot, Moab and Ammon are the descendants of Lot. Shion, the king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon and ruled on Ar, which is upon the bank of the river Arnon, and from the middle of the river, and from half of Gilead, even unto the river Jabbok, which is the border of the children of Ammon. So we know Ammon, we know Lot, we know Moab and Ammon dwelt in the land of Lot. And from the plain of the sea of Chinnereth unto the east, and unto the sea of the plain, even to the salt sea on the east, the way of Beth Jesimoth, and from the south under Ashdod-Pishna, and the coast of Og, king of Bashan, which was a remnant of the giants, and dwelt in Ashtaroth and Edrei. Now we're gonna go back. Now we see that, look, and from the plain of the east of Chinnereth, of the sea of the Chinnereth sea, and unto the sea of the plain, even to the salt sea of the east. Now we know the salt sea and the sea of the plain. The sea of the plain, when we already went over that, we know that's the Red Sea, and the sea of Chinnereth on the east. Now, what I said on the beginning of this video, you understand what seas are. These seas are all connected, going down one section, going down a section of piece of land. They might have their own little distinct locations and whatnot. We don't know how the land was formed back then, but you get the picture of what I'm trying to say. Now we go back to Deuteronomy 1. We're gonna line this up with what we're already saying. Now this is when Joshua defeated those kings on the east. Deuteronomy 1. We know Moses spake all Israel on this side of the Jordan, the wilderness. Moses never crossed the Jordan. Remember that. When we crossed the Jordan, this was our stomping ground. This is where we were at. This is our main lands. In the plain over against the sea, in the Red Sea. In the plain over against the Red Sea. The Jordan was the plain. Remember in Genesis 13? Let's go back to Genesis 13. Where did Lot choose? Lot chose him all the plain of the Jordan and journeyed east. You get what I'm saying? He journeyed east. He chose all the plain of the Jordan. We go back to Deuteronomy 1. And Moses spake all unto Israel on this side of the Jordan, the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea. And we go to Deuteronomy 1:5. On this side of the Jordan, in the land of Moab, began Moses to declare this law, saying, you get what I'm saying? You're starting to see the picture that I'm talking about. So we know the Red Sea has to be on the east side of the Jordan. No matter what anyone tells you, the Red Sea is on the east side of the Jordan. You can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't make this up. We're going to keep going here. We're going to go back to Joshua 12. Joshua 12:7. And these are the kings of the country which Joshua and the children of Israel smote on this side of the Jordan west. So now we're on the west side of the Jordan. And from Baghdad in the valley of Lebanon, even to the Mount Halak that go up unto Seir. And Joshua gave unto these tribes a possession according to divisions. So now you can see we're on the west side of the Jordan, which we never crossed before. You get what I'm saying? So I'm giving you all these scriptures. Now I hope that you took notes, or you can even rewind back in the video and get what I was trying to see. Get what I was trying to say. Now we're gonna go into each land and really dissect what's going on here. So let's see here. Now this is fake Egypt, fake Israel, fake Jordan, fake Red Sea, all that. Now let's break this down really slow so we can all understand it. I don't want to go too fast for anyone. We're going to break this down really slow. And I know some of you that already are hip to this can already see what I'm talking about. So this is Egypt. Let's say this map is true, and we're going to go according to scripture of what we're talking about here. Let's say this map is true, and now we're looking at all these scriptures that we went over. I hope you're going back over it so you can see. Let me just put it back on the screen real quick so you guys can see. You guys can actually see all the scriptures I've actually gone through. So we went through Genesis 13, 10 and 11. We went through Deuteronomy 1 and 2 and 5 and 6. Joshua 23:4, Joshua 1:4. Numbers 2 and 3. Now Joshua 1:4 and Numbers 2 and 3 are just the directions that we know. East is east and west is west. And we went over Joshua 12, 1, 4, and 7 and 8. So, and there's plenty more scriptures you can find that actually relate to this. So we know the plain of the sea, the east sea, all these seas have to be on the east. Because we're still able to see the Red Sea over against the plain of Moab. You get what I'm saying? That's fact. There's no hiding that. Now let's go to the map. Let's go to fake Israel. This is Egypt. This is supposed to be the Red Sea that we crossed, and up here is supposed to be the Jordan. Up here is supposed to be the Jordan. Now, what do we see wrong with this already? Can someone please tell me what we see wrong with this already? I know this is not a live broadcast. I'm just saying it out of my head. But if we crossed the Red Sea and we ended up on the east side of the Jordan in the land of Moab and the land of Ammon and all these Canaanites or whatever, we're clearly supposed to be, this is the Jordan right here, we're clearly supposed to be in the wilderness on this side right here, am I correct? So that means the Red Sea should be over here and Egypt should be on this side. Egypt's supposed to be on this side. If we cross the Red Sea, Egypt is supposed to be on this side of the Jordan. You know what I mean? It's real simple, man. You know what I'm saying? It's bullshit that they actually got us with this crap that they're telling everyone. There's no seas to the right at all, to the east of Jordan. There's no seas at all. This Persian Gulf over here, if you want to call that a sea and say that we can't, you know what I mean, that's the Red Sea, you can go ahead and believe that. I'm not buying that one bit. But you can clearly see the Red Sea is to the south of the entire supposed Holy Land over here. You know what I'm saying? And if you understand the Great Sea westward, they call that the Mediterranean over there. We know that ain't no Great Sea. The greatest sea on earth is the Pacific Ocean. So we know the Pacific Ocean is supposed to be on the west side of our land. That's what the Great Sea is talking about. And I can make another video about that, explaining the Great Sea. I'll make a short, quick video, not in this video, but I'll explain that further. But for the ones that are advanced in this study, we all know the Great Sea is the Pacific Ocean, going down to the sun. But you can already see, man, this is Egypt. This is the supposed Nile River, which Nile River is even, you know what I'm saying? We're not even going to get into that, but this is the Red Sea. This is the Jordan. This is supposed to be the west side of Israel, on the west side towards it going down the sun of Israel. As we can see here, there's no seas over here. The Red Sea is supposed to be on this side, and more than anything, Egypt is supposed to be on here. If we cross Egypt, going into the Red Sea, and the Red Sea is connected to the same sea, the land of Moab on the east side of Jordan is connected to the same sea that Egypt connected to. That means Egypt is supposed to be on the east side of the Jordan. Wherever Egypt is at, it's supposed to be on the sea opposite of the east side of the Jordan. On the west side of the east side of the Jordan. So let's just paint this picture real quick. Now look, we know once we left Egypt, we never crossed the Jordan. So this is the Jordan. This is the Jordan. Let's make this a little bit bigger. This is the Jordan, right? If they were able to see the Red Sea on this side over against the plain of Moab, if the Red Sea was over against the plain of Moab, that means the Red Sea should be over here. The Red Sea should be over here. And this all should be the plain of Moab right here. Which will make Egypt up here somewhere or down here somewhere. Over here. There's no way Egypt can be on this side and say we cross the Red Sea when the Red Sea is supposed to be on the plain against the plain of Moab on the east side of the Jordan. You know what I'm saying? It's total buffoonery. They lie to us. All you gotta do is read scriptures, put this together, and you can see the buffoonery. Now we're gonna get into the whole Utah situation. Now, Utah is basically the same thing. Let's zoom up on this real quick. Alright, boom. So, I think Utah's over here somewhere. Let's put it right here, just for the hell of it. And we can basically go through exactly what we said again already. Now, a lot of people claim, oh, the Gulf of California is the Red Sea. They say this is the Red Sea. Now, this is supposed to be the Jordan. What did the scripture say? We know we saw the Red Sea before we even crossed the Jordan. The Red Sea was on the east side of the Jordan. There's no Red Sea over here. There's no East Sea. There's no Salt Sea. Nothing that's connected to this plain of Jordan on this side. This right here is supposed to be all of Jordan right here. This right here is supposed to be all the plain of Jordan. And there's supposed to be seas on this side. And Egypt is supposed to be over here. And as we can see, there's no seas over here. There's nothing for us to cross. Even if we came from down here, there's nothing for us to cross. There's no sea for us to cross to get to Jordan, for us to be Israelites over here on the west towards the going down of the sun. You get what I'm saying? This is all simple, man. It don't take no rocket science to actually understand this stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean to be sounding demeaning or mean, or, you know what I'm saying, or aggravated, but this is just, it's just in the scriptures, man. You gotta read the scriptures and understand how stuff went down. Now, I'm not here to say that I'm totally correct, or I know where Jordan is, I know where the Red Sea is, I know where this and that is, but now I'm gonna show you. If you look at my old video, you can see where the Europeans went, where they go. Remember my old video, they went over here. Where the Europeans go? They came to South America, they came down here, they went all through this area right here. That's a fact. And they brought us into Egypt again. Now, I'm gonna go over this in the next video after this. This is gonna be a 2-part video. Now, this is my synopsis, this is my analysis of where the land is at. The land makes the most sense of being right here in Central America, where all the chaos is going on, where everyone in Central America is trying to leave. This is where the land is at. Now I'm gonna tell you why. Now listen to this point. No matter if Egypt was over here, let's draw a line over here. Let's draw this line. Right next to the land, so we can't say anything. So you can't say I'm making stuff up. We're gonna draw this right where the land connects. Right where this line is gonna connect to the land, to South America, North America. So let's say all this is the land right here, right? Egypt could be here, or Egypt could be here. This lines up with scripture way more than it does over here or over here. Why? Because look, there's seas all across this coast right here. You know what I'm saying? So even if this is Egypt down here and we crossed over here, all this could be the east side of Moab, and we could have been cut off right here, and this could have been us. Or we could have crossed over here, and this would have been Moab, and this would have been the east side, and we would have been the west towards the going down of the sun. Now I'm going to bring it even further now. Look. Where's this picture at? Boom. Now what you see here are land formations of Central America and South America. What do we notice on the east side of Central America right here? We see mountain terrains, we see plains. Where are all the plains? We have a huge plain here. We have all these plains down here going into South America. You get what I'm saying? So what did the scripture say again? On the plain of the Jordan, and the Red Sea was over against the plain of Jordan. That's what scripture says, man. If we wanna go back, we can go read it again. Let's go back and read it again, man. Because we ain't making nothing up over here. This is straight cold facts. You know what I'm saying? If you want to believe it, believe it. If you don't, I don't really care. I'm not no teacher. I'm not telling you believe me. But we're gonna go over these facts, man. I'm tired of this, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get back to home. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to be in this land. So we're gonna go over Deuteronomy 1 again. Moses spake, this is before we even crossed the Jordan. Moses spake all unto Israel on this side of the Jordan in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea. Now we know that plain is the plain of Jordan against the Red Sea. Why? Because on this side Jordan, in the land of Moab, began Moses to declare this law. And we go back to Genesis 13. And what happened? And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, and it was well watered. Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east. You know what I'm saying? Then we just go to Joshua, then we just sum it all up. And we go to Joshua 12. You know what I'm saying? And we can actually see, and from the plain to the sea of Chinnereth on the east, and unto the sea of the plain, which we know that has to be the Red Sea, even to the Salt Sea on the east, which is basically explaining the whole entire Atlantic Ocean, the way of, you know what I mean, and whatever these names are, whatever. So you get what I'm saying, man. Egypt is to the east. It's to the east of Jordan, no matter how you put it. No matter how you try and flip the scriptures, no matter what you think, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter what you think. There's no way around it. Before we crossed the Jordan, the Red Sea was still visible. And we know that our ocean was the West Ocean, going down to the sun, the Great Sea. You know what I'm saying? That's our sea. Joshua 23:4. Even unto the Great Sea westward. And we all know the Great Sea westward is over here. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I know where the Jordan is or I know which one, because I'm still having speculation that Egypt might be down here. You know what I'm saying? Egypt could be up here or Egypt could be down here. And it really doesn't matter because it's still going to be on the east side of which river the Jordan might be in Central America. And there's a bunch of rivers. You know what I'm saying? We don't even know. So keep that in mind. Read for yourself. Don't take my word for it. You know what I'm saying? And these seas right here, like I explained in the beginning of this video, what seas are, we can see there's a bunch of seas over here. We don't know how. I mean, I strongly believe that this whole land formation didn't look like this a long time ago, because you can see it's thick at the top, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. You know what I'm saying? All this time, all these centuries, you know what I'm saying? You can tell this used to be a lot thicker. So we don't know which sea was which. You can tell the seas down here. This could be a sea. We could have another sea right here and another sea right here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know for sure how everything was looking back then, but either way, we know if we came out of Egypt and crossed over here, or came out of Egypt and crossed over there, we know anything to the east of the Jordan where we're at, there were seas right here. And Egypt was on this side. We don't have, especially on this side, on this fake Egypt, fake Israel over here. Egypt is not on this side, man. You know what I'm saying? Egypt is on the left side. It has nothing to do with scripture at all. So Don't take everything I say as 100%. Go read for yourself. Go understand it. I know a few people will understand it. Most people will say I'm crazy, but you know what I'm saying? I'm coming out with more evidence about Egypt. Next video I'm going to be talking about how I believe this whole thing up here is Assyria. This is Canaan, and this down here is Egypt. So I'm going to go over that next video. I'm going to be going over the Great Sea westward. I'm going to be going all over that. So tune into the next video. I hope you like this video. Like this video, subscribe. If you don't understand, leave a comment and I'll get back to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not no egomaniac. I'll listen to everyone's opinions and I'll explain to what I think. But basically what I think is what scripture says. So if you want to combat that, go ahead, be my guest. I'm going to just come back with the straight facts. But I'm gone. Peace.